Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back in the saddle again, fully staffed here at the North Palm Beach radio studio. We have all hands on deck, and we're prepared for another challenging, exciting show. I can't come up with enough superlatives to describe the state of the affairs of the auto industry, retail and wholesale. Of course, the whole world is going through a topsy-turvy time. It's exciting. It's like a roller coaster ride. And it's hard on you, the consumer, because the way you buy things is changing so fast. And I don't just mean cars. I'm talking about everything. New companies, new ways of obtaining your services. I just read the other day that Amazon gets $40 of every $100 you spend. Think about that. Did you ever think there would be one company founded by a strange guy by the name of Jeff Bezos, who started out selling books not too long ago, and suddenly 40 cents out of every dollar that you spend goes to Amazon? And I used to joke about one day they'll start selling cars. I'm not joking anymore. There's not, sorry to say a day, but there's certainly not a month that goes by that I don't get shocked by something that I read or find out. And I usually try to validate it because there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. But I looked at the source, reliable sources, come up with some of exciting but also scary. If artificial intelligence doesn't scare you, nothing will, because it's growing like nobody ever anticipated. It's actually growing because of itself, because artificial intelligence is a source of rapid development, and it can rapidly develop itself, and there you go. So, and meanwhile, we got most of us out there just driving normal cars. No autonomy, not electric, combustion engine, mechanical, high tech. We used to think they were high tech. And you want to get it fixed at a fair price, and you probably want to buy a car at a fair price. And that's why we're here. So we could be talking about all sorts of crazy things, but what we need to do is deal with your problems today with your car, give you some suggestions. Rick Kearney, sitting to my right. Kudos to Rick. He's not feeling as well as he would like to, but he's a soldier. He's here today, and I congratulate him for that. If you have an issue with your car and you want to know, is it serious? Do I need to think about trading this thing in? And is it going to cost me thousands of dollars, or can I ignore it? Can I fix it myself? If I want to fix it somewhere else, where do I take it? Or maybe I don't know what's wrong with my car. It's making this noise. It smells like this. It's pulling to the left. It's pulling to the right. Describe the symptoms. And Rick Kearney, if you call us at 877-960-9960, that's 877-960-9960, Rick can answer the question. In fact, if you're a little bit of a cyber type of person, if you're comfortable online, go to youtube.com/Earl on Cars. youtube.com/Earl on Cars. And that's Rick's channel right there, really. He monitors it. He's got a following of extremely intelligent listeners and viewers, I might add. And a good chunk of the show comes from the postings of the very perceptive and clever suggestions and questions that come through the YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Earl on Cars, Rick Kearney right there. And if you want to use the telephone, we'd love to hear you on the phone. We like to personal touch with the phone calls. Just call us at 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Now, Nancy Stewart, my co-host, to my left here at the studio, she's our female advocate, and she's the one that single-handedly has raised our show to 50-50 female callers. And she does that by a very special offer that she'll be telling you about herself in just a couple of minutes. And also she's also the walking wounded. She's had a nasty issue with her shin on her leg, and she's had some outpatient surgery on that. And she wasn't feeling too foxy this morning, but she came in because she knew how important she is to the show and how important she is to the female listeners. So I salute Rick, I salute Nancy for coming in when they might have rather been at home in bed with some chicken soup, I'm not sure, but thank you, Nancy, for coming in. I'm going to turn the mic over to you so you can tell the ladies out there about that Too Good to Be True offer that you make every week.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate you because you make the show. And this morning we have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Yes, the first 2 new lady callers. And you can just give us a call and let us know, well, how your transaction went. Did you have to negotiate? And did you look for exactly what you wanted on the internet before you went into the dealership to take that test drive? It's really important that you do all that, because you won't, well, I use that word loosely, sometimes you won't get trapped. The number is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And we have our video from Big Dog Ranch this morning, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun. We have Stewie. No, not Stu Stewart. We have Stewie.
I objected to that.
Stewie is he's a 1 year, 6 months, and 2 weeks old, and he's really a cute dog. He's a mixed breed. With all of that, don't forget your anonymous feedback. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Take advantage of it. We have a whole lot to get to, so we're going to go right to the phones, and all the lines are lit up, and we're going to go to Darren in Ohio. Good morning, Darren, and welcome to Earl on Cars.
Good morning. I was calling a question for Rick. We have a 2014 Chevy Equinox, and a little history of it. We had the timing chain went around 80,000 miles. We had it replaced. It went again around 101,000, and of course that was during COVID. And the second time it went, it launched the motor. So instead of paying the dealer markups on cars, we ended up putting a new engine in it. At about 15,000, a new engine. We're looking for a new truck. If they end up putting out a recall for the timing chains, because I think up to like 2012 they knew there were problems with them and the engines, will that affect the money I put into it? Or if I go to trade in the vehicle, do I still have to, is there any difference in the trade because it's a new engine in it, or are they still going to base it on the total miles on the car and the transmission itself?
Save all your paperwork, the receipts, because one of the things that I've seen car companies do when they come out with a recall that is retroactive to cover older cars, if you've already had those repairs done, they will reimburse you the cost of those repairs. Sometimes they do limit it, but most cases they will cover the full amount, especially if it was done at a dealership.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't do it at a dealership. I did it at a local shop, so that's why I wasn't sure if that would.
They very likely will still cover compensation for it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Darren. Give us a call again. We're going to go to Marty, who calls us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Marty.
Hi. Hope you start feeling better.
Thank you.
I got another question for Rick.
Okay.
For the past several months, I'd say maybe every 5 or 6 times my electric parking brake wouldn't disconnect, so I just pressed the button, and, I was able to move the car. 2 weeks ago, I got a new battery, and it has not happened again. I went on the internet, and it said the electronic parking brake does have something to do with the battery. And I just wanted to confirm this with Rick, that just changing the battery fixed the problem.
That's actually very likely. The electronic parking brake uses two small motors, one in each of the rear brake calipers. And being electric motors, they're going to draw a lot of electricity to actually thread in and tighten those brake pads up mechanically. So, yeah, that can, a weak battery could definitely cause those to bind up by not having enough power to release. And getting a brand new battery in there, now you've got full power back, and those motors can take advantage of that.
I never knew that.
All right, well, I didn't know it either, so there was unfortunately, there was an easy fix.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, a lot of folks, when they first brought that system out, they were shocked at the noise that it would make, because when you put the car into park, a couple seconds later, you'd hear this little whoosh from the back of the car, and people were like, "What is that? What is that?" And that's simply those electric motors spinning up, so it locks up those rear brakes, and that way you don't have the car trying to roll on you.
So if you live in the city of San Francisco, you want to be sure you got a fully charged battery. You want to be sure that emergency brakes work if you park.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I complained about it once when it was still under warranty, but I never really brought it in for that. But anyways, the battery thing helps. So if anybody else is listening to the show and anybody else has that problem, you got to check the battery first.
Yeah.
Great idea, Marty.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you,
sir.
Marty.
Okay, bye-bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Coral Springs, where Elaine is waiting to talk to us, and she is a first-time caller. Welcome to the show, Elaine.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You've won yourself $50 this morning, and after we're finished talking, if you'll stay on the line, Jeremy, who is in the control room, he'll take your information and he'll pass it along to me, and I'll get you that check out.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. So what can we do for you this morning, Elaine?
Okay, I have a 1981 Fiat Spider convertible, Pininfarina 2000.
Wow.
that-
Wow. Whoa. Now, where do you live? I'm on my way over there.
Oh, really?
That's a beauty.
Yeah, it is. I've had it all these years, and we've kept it, in good shape and running and all. And I'm getting older, and it's hard for me to drive it because getting in and out of it, I'm going to be 81 in a couple of weeks. Anyway, I was wondering, how would I get it appraised, and where would the best place to sell it?
Well, that's a
Classic.
that's a John from Palm City, one of our regular callers, could probably help you on that. I think your vehicle is worth a whole lot of money, and it sounds to me like you took really good care of it. And there's nothing that's been ridden the crest of values more, whether you're talking the stock market or anything, than antique vehicles that are well cared for. So you've got yourself a real prize. I would take my time. It's a seller's market for that product, and there's probably a few really good Google sites. I wish, if John from Palm City, if you're listening, we'd love to hear your advice on this, because you stay on top of antique car auctions. There's every time you turn on the radio, turn on the TV, or go online, there's a antique car auction somewhere, and the values are mind-boggling as to what people are paying for classic cars. So I wish I could give you a more precise answer.
I Googled it, and you got all sorts coming up on. So if you just Google antique car auction, you'll see Mecum Auctions, Barrett Jackson, and a whole bunch more.
Hey, Stu, could Elaine go to Hemmings.com
I don't know. Never heard
That's
of him.
classified, vehicles.
I don't have.
Rick's shaking his head.
Hemmings Motor News.
Okay.
They've been around for
Hemmings is the largest.
70, 80 years, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Lane. That's something that.
Well,
start
you're
the
in a
search.
beautiful position. I'd love to follow and hear how you do. And if you need any more guidance, you can contact us again. If you're listening to the show now, I'm pretty sure John from Palm City, who is a real buff on these type of cars, he can give you something more specific, and then you can call us after the show, and we would be happy to give you that specific advice. But you're going to have a lot of fun. Nothing like having a product that people want to pay too much money for, and and you're gonna be having a lot of fun. Well, if you would share that with us and call us back maybe next week and let us know how you did,
Yeah,
we'd
that'd be
appreciate
great.
it.
And Elaine, I want to spell that out for you. HEMMINGS.com. Hemmings.com. And they specialize in classic car ads. And they're the largest. And that's a good place to start.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Is recommending to look into the Barrett Jackson auto auction. And Rocket Scientist says cars and bids. Cars, ampersand, it bids. I'm guessing that's a like an auction site maybe, or carsandbids.com.
Yeah.
I would look into that. And the other one that I would consider looking into is check around for some of the local car clubs and see what, like Asphalt Angels and some of the others like that. They may have some good knowledge of automobile auctions.
The car club is that's a great idea. As you can see, you have a lot of options, Elaine.
Yeah.
So
God bless you.
give us a call next week and let us know how it went, okay?
I don't know if I'd be able to call as soon as next week because I've got a whole bunch of things coming up this week, but I'll try to do it the following week.
Oh, perfect.
Hey.
Any time at all. And Rick?
Can I ask one other favor?
Sure.
Could you text us some pictures of the car? I would love to see it. Our text number of 772-497-6530. I would just love to see some pictures of that car.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Rick.
That sounds like a real beauty.
Yeah, definitely. Elena, I can't thank you enough for calling as a first-time caller because, I need help in building this platform for the ladies. They're, shall we say, a bit neglected and unfortunately still taken advantage of. And if you're able to stay on for the mystery shopping report, we shopped Al Hendricks Toyota. And the reason I mention that is because we had a lady call, I think she got in touch with Stu, I believe. Wasn't it on Facebook about her being overcharged by $7,000 at Al Hendricks?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was in touch with her this week to listen and, give her some empathy and sympathy. It was a very terrible situation. So back to my, point here, ladies are still being taken advantage of, and I want to thank you again and spread the word that, ladies are very important, and if they call the show, it would be a great reward to the other ladies that are listening.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to talk to Howard. He's a regular caller from Jupiter. And everyone else, just hang on. I'll be right with you.
Good morning. I hope you're all feeling well.
Hey, Howard.
Okay, great. I have a question about flooded cars. There's a big problem with flooded cars. I don't know how some of them get through and are being sold again when they barely run, or they run and a month later something happens and they die. So could you explain, number one, if you have a flooded car and it's regular water, not salt water, I know, forget it, but if the car is flooded out in salt water, it's completely done. But Rick, can you explain when a car gets bad from a flood, and why some cars don't get bad from a flood? Okay. Then I have another question, and I'll after that.
Well, the first thing is how the car is handled immediately after the water immersion. If it's relatively clean water, you've got a much better chance of not having such issues with mold and the dirt that gets into the connectors that can cause problems.
Or salt water would be terrible.
Yeah, salt water is the worst, the absolute worst, because of how much corrosion happens so quickly with it. Fresh water, especially if it's cleaner fresh water, like just rainwater, if it can be cleaned up quickly and the car is dried out very quickly, you can generally save a car that has only gotten a reasonable amount of water in it. But once the water level starts getting up above where the computers are, it's pretty much considered totaled. And unfortunately, some states allow a flood car to be retitled, and they can do what's called washing the title, so they get a clean title now that doesn't show that it was ever totaled by the insurance company. And then you suddenly find this nightmare car. But the corrosion that builds up can take days or weeks even before it will start to affect different circuits. And once it does, now you've got a nightmare situation going on, because you've got to replace a lot of those wire harnesses.
What states are they that allow this? Do you know?
I know Earl knows the list on the states where titles can be washed.
Yeah, off the top of my head, New Jersey, Mississippi, there's about 4 or 5 of them, but Florida is very good about titles. If you see a title to a vehicle you're thinking about buying, and it's titled in a state you're not familiar with, then I would go to the trouble to Google the title laws in that state. If in fact you're able to buy a fresh title for a car without having stated the condition of the car when the car was retitled. So there's about 5 states now. New Jersey and Mississippi are the only 2 that come to mind. I did a blog on that not too long ago, so if you go, Nancy's got a copy of it.
How to avoid buying a flood car after a hurricane, and Howard Earl has some pretty detailed information in that column, and there are other states besides Mississippi and New Jersey. So if you pull that up, if you go to Earl on Cars, you can pull up that it was this was written a while ago, I guess you might say during the last hurricane season and tropical storms. But there are so many flood cars out there. Do you have any other questions, Howard?
Yeah, my niece bought a car in New Jersey, and it was a flood car.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. One fast question. Toyota Camry, the new ones, do they have the battery the battery up front instead of in the rear? Is that a fact?
Let's see, I think the new Camry has now moved it back up to the front. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check on that, but yeah, for a while they moved it back into the trunk in the right rear corner.
Okay, because that gives you more room. That's where you could fit things more, rectangular things in the trunk. You know what I mean? The 2 rectangular things that you could put in the trunk on a Camry.
Yep.
Which in the hybrid you couldn't do that. But now you probably could do that so that's another advantage.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, if you want to see a trunk, you ought to check out the new Crown. The Toyota Crown.
Howard, I've got the states now that wash titles. And if you're buying a car and the car is titled in any of these states, be very, very careful. Texas, California, Washington, Tennessee, Mississippi, Illinois, New Jersey, North Carolina, Massachusetts, Virginia, Georgia, and as I said, Mississippi.
Okay, you got to buy your car in Florida. That's the answer.
Yeah,
right?
Florida. But see, if you buy the car in Florida, you want to see where the car was last titled.
Oh, I get it.
Because that's Florida will require all this. If you have a car that was titled one time, titled in Florida, then you'd be completely safe against hail damaged cars, flood cars, wrecked cars. I mean, they take cars, cut them in half, and weld them back together again and sell them. So if you take a car for one of these states, how many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11 states. Almost 20% of the states are cars that wash titles.
Wow. That's good knowledge. Thank you very much.
You're
Have a good
welcome,
day.
Howard.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling the show. We're going to go to Lance, who calls us in Tennessee. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning. Now, Earl, doggone it, we don't wash titles up here. We don't hardly wash clothes.
We don't watch anything up here.
Anything at all.
Boy, Chamber of Commerce is going to come looking for you. I hope you got a lock on your door.
Nancy and Rick, sorry to hear you're feeling better. I was feeling poorly. We make a cure up here, but the problem with it is that if it doesn't cure you, you can also use it to take off paint on your house, outside your house.
Is it something that starts with sour mash?
Well,
White
we're not gonna go
lightning.
into all that. We're not going to go into all that, what it starts with. But
You got Rick's attention, though.
listen, it's good to talk to you all. I've got a little quick tune for you
Oh boy.
to hopefully enliven your spirits and send you off to a victorious week. Well, it's Saturday morning, and you've got no place to go. Listen to Earl Stewart on Cars on the radio.
Oh.
Yeah, that's great.
I like that deep voice.
I can't wait I'm going to go to the podcast on some of your songs, and we can dub some music in. I'm gonna start a company, and we're going to, if you'll give me a piece of it, we'll market your songs.
Well, I don't know. Let's wait till our Christmas album comes out.
That's good. That's good.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Lance.
Thanks, Lance. We love hearing from you. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We are going to go to, let me tell all of you out there that were listening and maybe couldn't jot down those states that Earl was talking about. I'll mention that later on in the show. We're going to go to Michael, who is calling us from Boynton Beach. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. I have a really quick question. I have a lease car, and there's been a couple of things that happen intermittently with it. It's a Camry, 2020 Toyota XLE Camry. Really nice car and everything. But if you bring it to a Toyota dealer, unfortunately I live so far from where Earl Stewart is, otherwise I'd be bringing it there. And it's an intermittent problem. There's a dealership. I don't want to say it on the air. I could tell you afterwards, after the call off the air, which it is. But if it's an intermittent problem and you bring it in and they don't find anything, this particular dealership is going to charge you $135
For nothing, huh?
For just looking at it, and that they don't find that. Is that a standard practice with car dealerships?
No, certainly on a recurring problem. It's when it's obvious that you bring it back. The first time you come in, if they have to work on the car and they find nothing, there may be a diagnosis charge. So, a lot of dealers won't charge you for something like that. Depends on how much work the tech has to put in on the car. But when you bring it back again for the exact same problem, they should cut you some slack and realize they missed it. My advice is on any time you have a car that doesn't actually manifest the problem, smell-wise, vibration-wise, audio-wise, or visibly, if your senses can't detect the problem, it's very difficult for the tech to know where to start. They could put the diagnostic machinery on there, but when they're looking at a possibility that anything in the entire car could have a problem, it's very difficult for them to diagnose. The best thing to do is, what year Camry? It's a 2020. Rick, wouldn't that later model, wouldn't that have the ability to capture that incident and the diagnostic
depending on what the situation is, it should be able to save a lot of data in what's called the record of behavior, the ROB. This is actually not diagnostic trouble code, but it's actually a separate section where it will record like odd occurrences, say hard acceleration, the brake pedal and gas pedal hit at the same time, hard cornering, things like that. A lot of that data is saved in there now, and you'd be surprised at how much I can actually see about how people are driving their cars.
Yeah, I take it to a different dealer. I would also request if it's a chronic problem that they can't find the solution to, they should bring in a factory representative. They have factory technicians. They can contact them online. They can actually have a technician online with them while they're diagnosing your car. Or push comes to shove, the technician can actually come into the dealership and personally look at the car. Rick has another point.
Well, the procedure, the way it's supposed to work is if you bring your car in the first time, the technician checks it all over and cannot duplicate the situation. That's the first visit. The second visit, when you have a second thing for the same exact situation, we're supposed to open a tech case with Toyota. That information gets sent to the field tech specialist, and then if we cannot get a solution, the FTS is supposed to become personally involved and could visit the dealership.
That's what it's supposed to do. He went to the dealer. They didn't do that.
They're dropping
hence
the
my
ball.
recommendation to go to a different dealer who follows Toyota procedure. This dealer that you're dealing with is not following Toyota procedure, so you need to go to a different dealer.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I needed to find out. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Give us a call again, Michael.
Okay, I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you for calling 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Again, ladies, I have $50 for one more new female caller. You can give us a call and talk about just about anything. And I just want to let you know how important you are. I'll tell you, these dealers don't get it. They don't realize what an asset you are to this industry. And even when you go in for service, you just want to be treated male or female equally. And you want to ensure that you get high quality, service and also respect. Respectful service. They're not talking down to you, and a fair price. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Jersey Mike, who gives us a call from West Palm Beach. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the call. I hope everybody's feeling better there.
Yes.
I want to say something. I've mentioned it before. A lot of people may not be aware of this, but I adopted a dog from Big Dog Ranch. I happen to be a veteran, and when you do that, they'll give you a 50% deduction if you're going to purchase the dog. I would also say that when you get that dog from Big Dog Ranch, it is completely taken care of. It has a chip in it. It's been manicured. It's been brushed. It doesn't have fleas. It's been inspected by a veterinarian, and it's very thorough. And you get a full written report on all of that. So that's very, very important.
It's amazing, Mike, isn't it, that they spend, I'm sure you know a whole lot about this, but they have these service dogs, and they spend quite a bit of time training them and matching them up with the adopter. And it's just an amazing program.
That's exactly what I have. I have a service dog.
Yeah. And you've been
and it's great.
a major player as far as Big Dog Ranch is concerned. You know all about it.
And let me just say this about cars now, okay?
Okay.
Back in the day, because I'm 77 years old, I had 55 Chevy, 60s, 58s and so forth. They didn't have air conditioning back there, so you could actually buy a portable unit and put it underneath the dashboard. And I have a 55 Chevy Bel Air here that I happen to be able to pick up. It's a classic car, but of course it's got no power steering, no power window. Back in the day they didn't have any of those things. And it would be nice in the summer if it would have a little bit of cold air on me when I take it down to a show. Is there a place where I can buy such a thing?
I was going to say Amazon. That was my first
okay.
thought.
That's where I'd be looking.
All right. Well,
I didn't
take a
even know.
look.
First, I thought you meant that they had like available portable air conditioners back in 1955 when you bought your
Yeah,
Bel
well,
Air.
I
No,
just-
no,
for
back
any
then
car.
they didn't have that, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Really?
And they did.
Oh, wow.
And you would mount it underneath the dashboard, and you just, I mean, it had vents. You point them towards you, and you can point one towards the passenger, and you got air conditioning going on in the summer. I come from Jersey, and up there in the summer, sometimes you get 90-degree days, you know.
All right. Well, this is prompting an internet search. I'm not seeing it on Amazon yet, but Rick, did you find it?
Searching.
Rick is searching right now. Well, yeah, I would
Now,
start
really-
there, or maybe even ask a auto parts store or somebody who deals in classic cars.
And wait to hear this one. And it was in the shop, and they had 3 different people come over to attempt to program the new key that came with the steering column, because I had to have the steering column replaced because somebody tried to steal the car by breaking into it, and they screwed up the steering column. After they put the new steering column in, they had 3 gentlemen come over there that were professionals to try and program that chip in that key that went to the new column, because the car would not be able to be shifted into gear once it was started. So after having done all of that, somebody told me, I think it was Earl, go to a Cadillac car. And I did. And after doing that, I found out that it is as simple as taking, and I'm a motorhead. I have an own meter, and all I had to do was find the resistor on the ignition line and find out what the resistance was on the car, and do the same thing with the key, because you can go ahead and check the resistance of that chip on the key, and just replace the resistor to match the key's resistance, and it worked.
So if you went to the wire in the car, you got the resistance there, and if it matches the key, that's how you can do it.
But it didn't, because this is a new column, and the resistor that's originally in the car is still there. So you got to find out what the resistance is on the new key for the new column, and then put a new resistor in to match.
Oh, yeah, right,
And
to
that's
match
how
it.
simple.
That's an awesome hack.
You take a little solder iron, take a little solder to it, and bingo bango, a little electric tape on it, and it's done, and it works.
Rick's over there nodding. That's an excellent hack. Look at.
It's because back then they didn't actually have an actual microchip. They used a resistor in the key, and they just had multiple different resistors. So it's kind of like how the key code is one mystery that has to be solved in order to start the car, but then you've got a second one with a resistor. So you've literally got 2 versions of the key. It's like the dual password that we have now on computers.
Yes, two-factor authentication.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, portable AC units on Amazon, I'm seeing them anywhere from $30 to $50 to one that's $600. But yeah, these are. Here's one listing for $30, and it's a 500 milliliter portable AC evaporative air cooler for your small room or a car.
Great. I'm looking to. I appreciate that info. And one last question, real quick. The 55 Chevy I have, it's a mystery to figure out how to pop the hood on that car. You can go all through that grill and try and look for a lever. There is no such a thing that I can find. Inside the car, all you got is a pull brake for the emergency, but there's no lever there to pull, as you do have on all other cars, to open that hood. How do you open that hood?
Plunger.
A what?
A plunger.
I'm going to Google that because I honestly don't know.
What's
Earl,
a plunger? What's a plunger?
Oh, like a toilet plunger.
Plumbers who plungers.
You stick it to the hood and yank up.
That's a good one. I like that one.
It might actually work if the hinge is. if the latch isn't locked.
Because you would think that you could pop it or something by pushing down on it or something, but you should be able to find a lever somewhere within that grill. But there's no lever there to pull to open the.
We're just spitballing. Rick's onto something though.
Yeah, I'm watching a video on YouTube right now, and it's showing the guy coming in, and he's reaching into the grill directly below the Chevy emblem, and apparently there is a latch
There is. I didn't because after I went over the whole thing, but no, you really right underneath the emblem, huh?
Yeah, right under the Chevy
like a flying
emblem.
bird. Yeah.
He's reaching in that top little square of the grill.
John,
All right.
this is Nancy. I just wanted to let you know, those latches are really hard to find.
Yeah.
I'm driving a 2020 from time to time Avalon, and I was charging my battery, and in the home garage. And what I did was pop the hood, and it's obvious that the hood has been popped, but you have to. And I have a small hand, and I was able to slide my hand under the hood, back and forth, and find the latch. And I've done that several times. So, the reason I mention that is because the latches are really hard to find.
She's mentioning that because I couldn't find it, and she found it.
She's taking the fall for you.
Earl said, "How do I open up that hood on the Avalon?" And I said, it's difficult. I said, I'll go out and I'll take care of it. So, I said, oh, geez, here I go again. I got to find where that latch is exactly. Well, once you get your fingers wrapped around it, it's a win-win.
Thank Google
thank you very
for
much
YouTube.
For the info. Hey, and folks out there, remember Big Dog. It's a great place. And they don't kill dogs there. They will not do that, or they don't.
That's true.
They take dogs in from all over the country. As
Thank
a matter of fact, from outside of the country sometimes.
Yeah, definitely outside of the country. And also, that veteran program that they have, they do so much as far as the vaccinations and microchipping, and the veteran receives reduced costs for up to a year.
There's a VA guy right there. There's a guy there in the back. They got a lot of buildings, so you got to go hunt and look for this. Have somebody tell you where it is.
Yeah, it's a
but
campus.
There's an actual veterans building back there. And I gave them $1,000 because I think they do what they do, and I'm going to give them more as we go along. And I'm going to say this: once you get a dog from there, you don't have to go to a veterinarian. You go back there, and you're going to pay a minuscule amount compared to what you'd be paying for a veterinarian. You go to a veterinarian, it's more than going to a medical doctor for a human being.
Yeah, they're at their vet. It's not a for-profit thing. They're supported by their donations.
Definitely, Stu. It's a great healing center. Jersey Mike, we're going to run, and we love talking to you. I hope you get your hood open, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And ladies, I have $50 for the next new female caller. Give us a call. It's a win-win situation. Just call to say hello or share your story with us, whether you went through service, whether you purchased a vehicle, maybe you leased a vehicle. Let me know how your negotiating skills went. 877-960-9960. That's all I have over here on the X screen, guys.
Well, I got Anne-Marie has an interesting text for us this morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
And we have a visual aid that John can put up when it's appropriate. Anne-Marie says, good morning. A short while ago, I encountered a bit of automotive serendipity. The hotel I chose to stay at just happened to be hosting a lot of owners of the street rods and classic cars that had come into town for the 29th annual Northeast Street Rod Nationals. The parking lot was filled with gorgeous cars. The antique cars dated from the 30s to the 70s. They're designed to run on leaded gas, and most of the cars were driven rather than trailered in. The question didn't occur to me until everyone had gone their separate ways. Thankfully, you guys have a renovated classic car. We do. We have a 1937 Pontiac. We keep at the dealership that was restored about 20 years ago.
Chieftain, Pontiac Chieftain.
Pontiac Chieftain. They don't put the model name on the outside of the car back then. So can I ask you, what kind of fuel do these restored cars use? Would they all have been modified to run on unleaded gas? Or is there an additive that can be used so they can use unleaded fuel? Thanks, and that's from a blast from the past. And hopefully Jonathan got these pictures. They're really cool cars. They just look like looks like American graffiti outside this hotel. Rick?
The number one issue that you have is the leaded gas. The lead that was in there was actually a lubricant for the valves and the valve seats. So a lot of these cars have been rebuilt, and they use a hardened valve seat.
Yeah, but this hasn't been
So
rebuilt. She's talking about a real antique car. Yeah.
Well, most of them, though, they do rebuild to put a hardened valve seat so you can run unleaded fuel, or you can simply get a leaded additive that does the same job as the lead would do, but it's not polluting the atmosphere with lead anymore.
The purists don't modify antique cars at all.
Right.
So if you once you modify it, that it's not, it's like either you're a virgin or you're not a virgin.
Where do you get leaded gas then?
Well, that's a good question. I think that's
you buy additives
that's a better question.
Lubricates the fuel that you add into the fuel.
Oh, okay.
That makes it safe to run.
There we go. So it's either they've either converted the engine, done a modification if they're not a purist, and it runs on regular unleaded fuel, or they put an additive in the unleaded fuel so it works with the untouched, pristine, unmodified engine.
Yeah, with our 1937 Pontiac, we wanted it to be 100% original. So when we had it restored, even the emblems and everything in the car, it took a long time and a lot of money, but everything is absolutely original. And that difference between that and, well, all we changed was this.
Right, and we
is
have
a lot of money.
a 1999 Cadillac engine in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't. We haven't.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were waiting. Do we have a call?
No.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. So I hope everybody gets to see the pictures. I have another text from Bob, and this is a great question. He says, good morning. With all the wet weather we have in Florida, and looks like getting wetter in years going forward, and we here with the El Nino, we're going to have a cooler, wetter winter down here in the south. So we could have some of this flooding we've been getting. Anyway, it says, it looks like it's getting wetter in the years going forward. Is it wise to buy an electric vehicle? My concern is that it appears the batteries are located low in the vehicles, and even without driving through standing water, a lot of water is constantly being thrown up underneath. It's from Bob. Well, I can say that the vehicles are designed to withstand any water. You can even they can be submerged, and there's no electrocution. Whereas hybrids, battery electric vehicles, and the like. There's even videos online of people driving.
Not Teslas.
There's videos of Teslas driving through floodwaters over the hood because there's no air intake and everything. Elon says it could be used as a boat for short distances.
Well, no, he actually in the Tesla, when he first hit the volume production of the Model 3, they were putting plugs in the holes of the vehicle, and they were slowing down production. He had to get production up to 5,000 a month, and he told the engineers, "Why did you put that there?" He says, "Well, if there's a flood that's high enough to go in to the car, it'll go through this hole." He says, "You get a flood like that once every 12 years. Don't put the plugs in the holes." So that's a little known fact that the Tesla 3 doesn't have the it's not floodproof. Yeah.
Well, they do say, don't do it because you're going to ruin the car anyway. Yeah. But it's not going to get hydrolocked like an internal combustion engine and draw water into the engine. But it can operate. But to answer the question, no, it's designed to not electrocute you if it gets wet.
Right, and those batteries, from the studying I did for them for firefighter training, those are so well sealed that the battery itself, you can't even get air really into it. So they are incredibly well sealed.
Except for those Model 3s.
Yeah.
How does the person that purchases an electric vehicle, how do they know it's amphibious?
Well, they're not technically, they're not designed. That's an off-brand use of the electric vehicles. It's the same way, internal combustion engine vehicles are designed to be safe for the drivers in water. It's not going to. There's a lot of electrical components and high voltage systems in regular cars now. So they're just designed not to do that because that's a regular occurrence. It rains and there are puddles.
Yeah.
So that's how they're designed.
Great information.
Mm-hmm. Got another one here. Do we have a call coming in?
We have a call.
Here it is.
And it's John from Palm City. Good morning, John.
Good morning. I think I have some good news for people. I renewed my license plate this weekend, and at the Motor Vehicle Bureau is a sheriff deputy, which they have from occasionally when people are registering their cars from out of state. They check the ID serial numbers to make sure it matches what it says on the registration. That's been done for years, and it's a good system. But some of them require not the motor vehicle employee, but the actual sheriff deputy to inspect the numbers, which I guess is a good system. But here was the problem. And the state that's involved has cracked down now on issuing title certificates because, as Earl mentions, they wash out titles on flood cars. So I don't say this was a flood car, but people were registering a Vermont vehicle, and they told them that the papers were not proper. They needed additional backup as to where the car was registered before, whether it be a Vermont address or what, and they told them everything that they needed. But there's a lot of cooperation, from what I heard at the motor vehicle now, between Vermont and Florida, because Vermont was very negligent in issuing titles for cars without even people going in person, mail orders, etc. So that's some good news that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And maybe they can stop some of these washed out titles, especially of flood cars, with all the rain that we've been having.
I mean, we usually see it down here because we get all that nasty weather. But in New York right now, my daughter's up there. It's crazy. It's flooding in the streets of Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Oh, it's
and there's pictures of. Usually, you see after a hurricane, down here in the south, but there's cars submerged up to the hoods, all lining down the streets of Williamsburg and down in the East Village. It's my daughter has water pouring into her apartment right now.
Oh my goodness! And in Central Park, did you see the flooding in Central Park?
Yeah, the sea lion got away.
Yeah,
The
it's
subways,
just.
my daughter lives in Brooklyn. It was actually in the subways. It was coming through the walls of the subway.
Yes,
it's
right
the
through
worst she's ever seen.
The tiles. It's squirting out of the grouting in the tiles. I saw that.
They showed a video, John, and it was just, I was in awe, definitely. And that's a good point that you bring up about the washed out cars.
Yes, the washed out title, which Earl has mentioned several times, and it's an actual fraud. So the second thing, real fast, I want to mention, we never brought up again safety recalls. Last year, 932 safety recalls were issued. That's like 30.8 million cars. A lot of people don't get, even if they get their notice, they don't get it taken care of. Very simple.
Yeah.
The website is nhtsa.gov. Put in your 17-digit serial code, and you'll find out on any car that's made or existence if there's been a safety recall on it. So again, it's nhtsa.gov. On that website, put your 17-digit code in there and find out if there's any recalls that were made on your automobile.
And safety recalls never expire.
And it's free to get fixed.
Yes.
Very good point.
That's great information, John.
We need to remind people that every week. I mean, we got discouraged leading a crusade over them, but it's still good information. Every week, if somebody picks up on it and runs their VIN, it'll be a help.
So,
Very important, and it's so easy to find out.
Yeah, so John, it's nhtsa.org.
NHTSA.
Yeah, nhtsa.org, and you enter the 17 digits in it.
.gov.
.gov.
Thank you.
And your 17-digit code goes right, and that's easy to find. It's right on your dashboard of your registration.
Yeah.
It's easy to find, not easy to write down, but it's easy to find.
Right. Also, safercar.gov.
Yep.
Okay, guys, keep on doing the good work.
Oh, thank you, John.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
877-960-9960. And that number is for you, ladies. If you want to win yourself a $50 this morning, I need to hear from another new female caller. And she wins herself $50. 877-960-9960. Text us. You'll need that text number when you vote on our mystery shopping report this morning. And it's from Al Hendricks, and it is a doozy. You want to stay tuned for that. But you can use the text number 772-497-6530 to grade the mystery shopping report. We're going to go back to Stu, or maybe we're going to talk to Rick.
Oh, we've got a few YouTube comments here.
Okay.
Get back here to the beginning a little bit. One early one here was B. Bizzle, who said, do you think it's true that Sun Toyota has over 600 new vehicles in stock?
No. I checked that. I'm glad somebody else asked that question. They're using the old in transit and on order trick that so many dealers do. In fact, as a matter of fact, Toyota is guilty in this too. The clear implication is that when you say you have something in stock, that it's on the ground, available for sale. But that means that these cars have been allocated to Sun Toyota, and some of them might be in transit, but they are not on the ground. He can have 10 cars on the ground, and then another 300 or 200 that are allocated, but they haven't come yet. So it takes weeks for the cars to come in, and also a lot of those cars could be sold, pre-sold before they came in. So the dealers, including Toyota, and I hope Toyota's listening now. They hate it when a car dealer speaks ill of them, but I'm speaking ill of Toyota for their system that deliberately distorts the dealer inventories, and people will go into an inventory expecting to see 600 cars at Sun Toyota, and I guarantee you he doesn't have 600 cars in stock. He might have 100, but he hasn't got 600, and it's confusing, and it's biased information to sell more cars by deceiving your customers.
That is right. I was looking for a little trick. Sometimes when you go to a dealer's website and they show a large amount of cars, if you look in the filter where you filter the results on the inventory page, they can have multiple locations, and there'll be a tab for location, and you might be surprised to see the one you're looking at might only have 120 cars, but there's 4 other locations, and it totals up to the amount. In this case, Sun Toyota only has the one location down there in Southwest Florida, and but like Earl said, incredibly improbable that they have anywhere near that number of cars physically on the lot that are available.
Yeah. If he's charging $1 million addendum on every vehicle, maybe he does.
Yeah, yeah. There are some very small circumstances where that could be true, but the probability is very small. Ali has a question. This is a good question for everybody who's wondering what to do when that maintenance light comes on in your car. Lee says, good morning. I'm a new owner of a 2020 Avalon, which is a fine car. There's a message appearing. It says to perform maintenance soon. How do I know what to do next? I need a clue. My mileage is at $34,000. Well, for Toyotas, the mileage intervals are every 5,000 miles or twice a year. So what you do is make sure that you're keeping up this. Go to a Toyota dealer and do your 35,000 mile service,
which most likely will be just a tire rotation.
Right. I think you are just out of the Toyota Care, but which goes with the car, I assume. So if he's a new owner of a 2020, it means he bought it used.
The first 5 services would have been given for free.
Right.
So
this is
at $35,000, he'll be out on
He's
that.
He's done, yeah. So I shouldn't have excited
unless he
you
has
about
Toyota
that.
Care, which can give several other services after that.
ToyoGuard.
ToyoGuard, that's it.
That's another thing. But don't worry about that. Just all you have to do is it's a very inexpensive service. All of them are pretty inexpensive, just tire rotations and oil changes. But at 35,000 miles, all you got to do is swap those tires from front to back. Okay. Also, this was from Jersey Mike talking about his air conditioning in his Cadillacs or his old cars there. Gary sent it in. He found a listing on eBay. It's a full-on air conditioning system, classic car AC, for $1,899, $1,899. It looks a lot more involved in the picture I'm looking at than one of those little portable units. But it looks like you can just rig this thing up and cool off your old Cadillac. And also, lastly, to catch me up, and we'll jump over to you, is we have from Paul. He says in South Florida, king tides we got them this weekend. The highest tides are 9:17 this morning, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and 11 a.m. And he adds, and I do want to emphasize this: saltwater is a huge no-no to drive through. Yeah, that's not something you want to do.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, certain roads like on Palm Beach, Lakeshore Drive and Lake Park, the intracoastal will literally
come up through the ground,
go over the road, and you are literally driving in salt water from the intracoastal.
Down in Miami Beach, they have these king tides, and they're pretty regular. And if you're down there, like on Collins, or if you're familiar with the Miami Beach area, it gets seeps up through the ground. It's really freaky.
Yeah, let me jump in there and go back to the question about Sun Toyota. Another person complained about that several weeks ago. So I asked our new car inventory manager, who is a real whiz, and I said they're advertising they have 369 cars in stock. And our inventory manager did some inside investigation, and they actually had 69 on the ground. So they only lied by 300 cars.
No, by a lot more than that. It was.
Well, this was back on August the 31st.
Now they say they have 685 cars in stock, and they have 69.
Oh, no, this was on August 31st.
Oh, okay.
When they advertised 369, and they had 69 on the ground.
Okay, so now they've doubled the claim. They probably have 100. All right, now I'm all caught up.
Well, this one from Guy Larrabee. It says, Earl, have you calculated the energy savings compared to your previous vehicle as to what you're getting with the Tesla?
You know, I can do it. The Tesla does it for me, and I haven't done that comparison, but I will do that. It'll be an easy comparison because I can look at my Tesla app anytime, and I see what normal savings is based on normal gas and the cost of electricity in my particular neighborhood. Let me. There's something that I got out of this book for guys. Particularly your followers, Rick, who are really on top of things, and any Tesla owners out there. This is breaking news because the biography I read, as a matter of fact, I just finished it this week on Elon Musk. The very end, we kidded him a lot, and Nancy and I have a Tesla, and we said I wouldn't drive the car, let autonomous mode go on this car and feel safe. We kept trying it. Every time there was a software upgrade, we would try it, and it was scary, and we just stopped trying it. And publicity after that kind of came out that even Musk was having second thoughts. Well, there's been a breakthrough, and I kind of believe this. He has a company called Neuralink, among SpaceX, and Neuralink has taken the film, the video from all the Teslas. Tesla's been around for 10 or 15 years, and millions of miles, hundreds of thousands of Teslas, and the cameras are recording. And they have taken the best drivers, and they've taken the video, and they feed it into their supercomputer through this Neuralink process. And what they're doing is they're now programming the autonomous to way humans actually drive the cars. The instructions are...
That would be good.
Yeah, well, it's actually been tested. They take only the best drivers, and like a 5-star Uber driver, and they use that. And see, a human being, and this is what worried Nancy and me, we do things that sometimes are illegal to avoid an accident. I mean, you'll do just about anything, to avoid an accident. You'll run a red light, you'll go over a double line, and only a human can make that decision. And sometimes it's the best way to avoid an accident. So that's what Neuralink does.
We do that to get out of the way of a fire truck.
Yeah, exactly.
There's reasons.
So the very end of the biography, he had one of these cars that was programmed by Neuralink, not conventional programming, but the way. And he said, I deliberately took my hands off the wheel, and I was instinctively wanted to change things, but I didn't do it. They came across a road while he was driving it that was littered with, bumpers and, maybe like a dump truck. It actually dumped a bunch of crap on the road. And the Tesla is trying to navigate. The Tesla, to avoid a high-speed collision, switched over, crossed a double line on the highway because there were no cars coming, because the camera didn't see any cars coming, to avoid something that would certainly have been a blowout and maybe even a fatal accident. So Elon Musk went on to say that he normally doesn't see even what he calls was a safety autonomous car driving as well as he does. He says this car drives better than he does, and that it drives better than most drivers. So that could be the breakthrough. But I never thought of that. They were trying to program Teslas by anticipating everything by a rule,
Right.
like don't go over the, you don't run a red light, don't go over the double line, don't follow too close. But there's not enough rules in the world.
It's infinite.
To be human. So now you have human Neuralinks the way not the great drivers. A 5-star Uber driver isn't perfect, but he's the best we got. So that's the way the new autonomous cars will be programmed.
Skynet is coming.
That's right.
And you mentioned
self-aware
savings on
at
electric
4:14
vehicles.
p.m.
Last week from Automotive News, I reported on the electric vehicles, and they were comparing them to the gasoline-powered cars. And there's a $3,000 a year in fuel that you can save, and the reduced cost on maintenance is just amazing. It's really worth Googling and check that out on electric vehicles. Okay, Rick, do you have anything else for us?
Oh, we do. This one from Kervin Payan, a.k.a. The Dude. He says he's got a...
AKA what?
The Dude.
Oh, the dude.
I
I
thought
like
he
that.
said something else.
The Dude.
Yeah, that's one of Elon Musk's favorite expressions. Dude. Yeah.
So he says he's got a 2018 Lexus RX 350 F Sport, and unfortunately was involved in a hit-and-run accident in Houston. State Farm did not want to repair it with OEM parts to the manufacturer's specs, and he's nervous about it and asking, should he sell the car after it gets repaired? I give him a quick reply back here, basically saying he should consult a lawyer, especially for the loss of compensation for the loss of value of the car, and also to see if the lawyer getting involved, maybe they can get them to actually do a proper repair with OEM parts that have been safety tested and are proper for the vehicle.
Well, that's one of the worst conspiratorial issues that I have with the industry. There's some sort of a unholy alliance between insurance companies and manufacturers. And I hate to say it, but even lawyers. Here is a fact, and listen to this carefully for those that don't already know it. Aftermarket non-OEM parts are not safety tested. In case you didn't hear me clearly, a hood, a fender, a bumper, if it's not manufactured by the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer of that vehicle, it's not safety tested. NHTSA tests cars, and they put a rank on the car. This is really safe, it's not so safe, and you can get all that information in consumer reports. And the insurance companies, oftentimes, in fact, more often than not, will not use OEM parts on crash parts. A hood, a fender, a bumper, and the absorption of the energy and the timing of the compression, if you see a slow motion compression of an accident, and you see how the hood, the bumper, the fenders, it's like an accordion. They come in, and it's absorbing energy, but it's also on a timer as to when your airbag goes off, or your airbags. You got airbags all over the place. If you buy a car that's repaired with a bumper and fenders from Taiwan, and you save some money, or I say your insurance company saves the money, you don't save any money, the insurance company saves a lot of money, then you put those fenders on there, and you're in an accident, your life's in danger. So,
Exactly.
So somebody tell me, lawyers, auto manufacturers, regulators, politicians, I say, tongue in cheek, you don't care. You want to get elected, that's all you care about. But how can we have cars being repaired by State Farm, Allstate, and all the Geico and these prestigious, respected insurance companies, and how can they be putting on unsafe crash parts? I don't care, what kind of door handle you put on. I care about when I'm in an accident, something is going to save my life.
Exactly.
And it's the lawyers don't seem to be excited about it. I think this should be the greatest class action suit against manufacturers of automobiles and insurance companies ever. And I know there are some attorneys out there that watch and listen to the show here. I'd love to have an attorney call me and say, why do you let that happen? I mean, you can make a lot of money if you were to get enough people to participate in a class action suit.
And this one from Donovan. What does Earl think of the status of the UAW strike? It looks like it's not going to end anytime soon as the strike is expanding. 7,000 more workers walked off from 2 plants yesterday.
Well, it's great television. The President of the United States is getting a lot of camera time off it, and the candidates are getting a lot of camera time off it. The head of the UAW, and of course the big 3 manufacturers are all getting a lot of camera time, and they're playing poker and they're on stage. It's a big act. I think that it's going to be tough on the UAW because the manufacturers, and I'm speaking most of them, are prepared. They saw the strike coming. I mean, they know in advance when the times for the talks are going to come up. They anticipate strikes always. They build up their inventories. The dealers have built their inventories up. Right now, the new car inventory is greater than it's been in 3 years. It's going to get settled when it has to be settled.
And also,
the public doesn't know what's going on. It's behind the closed doors, and everybody that knows what's going on is keeping quiet about it.
I was reading about the employees, and they're getting $500 a week, I believe, but they may go elsewhere for a job. And when this strike is over, they're not going back to their job, and that's another fear in this terrible mix.
Half the manufacturing of cars out there are non-union, so half the Tesla is not union. There are other manufacturers out there, so if you want to give Elon Musk a big head start, then go on strike. And I'm talking about the big 3, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, and the UAW. If all you guys want to give Elon Musk a huge start, then just keep on drain the dealers. They won't have any cars, and you'll make the conversion to electric vehicles happen a lot faster than you want it to be. Because when the manufacturers are building nothing but EVs, all you auto workers out there that know how to assemble a combustion engine car, where are you going to find a job? So it's going to be the strike. I think everybody really knows it's a bad thing. They can handle it for a time, which they're handling it now, but it's not going to last because it's just going to hurt the industry really bad. Help Elon Musk and hurt the industry.
Exactly. We're going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Roadrunner Steve. Good morning, Roadrunner Steve.
Beep, beep.
Good morning,
everybody.
Hey.
Well, I got a little story to tell. Last week, I went to get my oil change on my Roadrunner. So I told the guy there that I know, I'll bring my own oil filter. This way you don't have a hard time finding one. So he said, no problem. I get the car there. We get it up on the lift. The manager comes out. We can't do the oil change. I said, why not? Well, our computer shows we don't know what type of oil to put into the tank. So I started laughing. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what am I getting? He goes, an oil change. Well, there's the word, oil. So he goes, vendor don't carry that oil. So I looked at him again. What do you mean a vendor? Well, when we get our parts from, we don't carry that oil. I said, all right, get that car off the lift. I closed the hood. I left. So out of
Absolutely.
curiosity, I go to O'Reilly's. They got the oil. I go to Walmart. They got the oil. I went to get a cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
They have the oil.
And I wanted to go to Dollar Tree. They got the oil. So I went back to the guy. So what are you talking about? He ain't got the oil. Right? So the guy that I know was coming the next day that worked on my car. I said, yeah, you know, I got the oil filter. I'll bring my own oil. He goes, yeah, no problem. I'll just charge you a lift charge. I said, great. What is it with this computers where you don't know what to do for a car? Well, I mean, an oil change. The simplest thing in the world.
It sounded like the first shop just had a too cozy of a relationship with his vendor, and he just he gets one kind of oil, one kind of this and that, and one kind of.
Yes. Because I noticed a lot of oil now is synthetic and something like carbon gas oil or something, whatever. I'm just like reading this stuff.
Yeah,
But
they have
everybody had the oil except this guy's vendor.
The oil companies are clever. They will go to a dealership, I know, because it's happened to me, and they'll come and say, listen, if you buy nothing but Valvoline oil, we will loan you $1 million to build your new service department for 2% interest. I mean, they lock themselves in. It's kind of like some of the soft drink companies do to the grocery stores. You know, they bribe them to carry only their brand. And when I had a Pontiac dealership for years and years and years, all I ever had was a Valvoline oil.
Well, like
Yes, but
with racing company,
Go ahead.
NASCAR, they only use Sunoco fuel for all NASCAR, and
Right.
they get a big kickback on that.
yes. Well, I go back to NASCAR when they had door handles on the car. But my thing is, if that was my business that I owned it, I would have sent the guy out to go get the oil. Okay?
Yes, very
To
well.
me, you lose the business. Plus, the guy that does the oil change, I always tip the guy $5. So now the guy that does it also loses out. I don't understand. You know, take care of the customer.
Steve,
Don't
do
listen to
you
a computer?
do you use any specific type of oil, or just
Yeah, 10W30.
that's just a 10W30 dyno oil?
Yeah, 5 quarts. 5 quarts. That's it.
Yeah, that's available everywhere.
Yeah, like I said,
That's ridiculous.
I got it at Dunkin' Donuts.
His vendor said, my vendor don't carry that oil.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
I mean, it is. But like I said, if that was my business, I'd send one of my workers out here. Steve said the oil is over here, or drive Steve to the store to get the 5 quarts, bring it back, and we charge him a lift charge, and we still make money, and the guy doing the oil change gets a $5 tip.
yeah.
Oh, what's so hard about that?
I don't know.
Really? What's the big deal?
But the place that you went to, so they just charge you just a lift fee that you can change your own oil.
Yeah. It's the same thing. The $25 lift fee, the same in New York.
Okay.
You know, with that. So I got
don't
no
do
problem with that. But this way, I go under the car and I inspect it too till they come out. The boil. Oh, insurance regulations. You can't go under there. I said I'm already done looking. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Wait, they're letting you change your oil, but they wouldn't let you go under your car?
No, they changed the oil, but I always inspect under the car.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
the one guy I'm friends with, he knows me, so he doesn't say anything because he's a car guy also. But, you know, he said, oh, the big boss is here. You know, you got to get out. I said, yeah, no problem. I'm done looking. I wanted to see how the dual exhaust was hanging out, you know, if everything was secure and all that. That was it.
Well,
That's my story for today.
I work at a dealership, and our service department, which has all the OSHA and insurance companies and everybody else checking it, our rule is the customer is perfectly allowed to come out and inspect the car, look it over. The only rule is we do ask that they are escorted by a service writer or a service technician so as to keep the customer safe while they're looking under the car. And I'm very likely to hand them a pair of safety glasses to put on and, you know, hand them a flashlight too if they want. But,
In fairness, our insurance companies say we can't even do that, but we do it anyway. So
well, But we want to take care of our
Sometimes
customers.
sometimes you got to
They
break
say if
the
the
rules.
car falls off and hits the customer in the head, they won't pay.
Screwed, yeah.
Right.
How's,
By
when's
the
that going to
way,
happen?
if I come to you and we go under the car while I'm by Earl Stewart and the car starts to fall, are you going to jump on me to save me?
Yes, I'm going to be, yes.
Oh, boy.
The cost
All right,
us will be much
everybody, have
less.
a safe day and a good weekend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
We love hearing from you. Okay, we are going to be going soon to our video for Big Dog Ranch, so stay tuned for that. Rick and Stu have some messages.
I got one last one here. This is from Pop Hartley, and he says he has a Toyota Sienna with 17,000 miles, and he says every time he goes into his local dealer for a regular service, such as an oil change, tire rotation, the service advisor also says to him, you need a tire balance and alignment. Pretty much every time he goes in, he says. He says the tires look fine as far as wear and tear. He says the ride is smooth, so I know I don't need the tires balanced. Is the advisor trying to oversell me on something I don't need?
No.
And I think in this case, yes. Tire balance, if you're driving at highway speeds, say 50 to 70 miles an hour, and the vehicle runs smooth, and your tires look to be in good condition, and you run your hand over it, you don't feel any odd lumpiness or anything, your tires are in good shape. You don't need to pay for a tire balance every single time you go in. And if the vehicle rides
You feel
smooth
it.
in the
You know,
lane,
if you have a vehicle that rides smooth, then you don't have a problem with your
yeah.
tires.
And if it stays pretty well centered in the lane,
Yeah.
and it doesn't fight you, you don't need to worry about an alignment.
And they should check your alignment free anyway and show you the printout as to what your alignment is. If they say you need a four-wheel alignment, then show me. Show me on paper, and they should not charge you for that.
Right, and if they're good, they'll show you when you don't need an alignment, and just show right there everything's good.
Yeah, they're just taking advantage of you at that point, nickel and diming you.
Just remember that these people that call themselves service advisors and they call themselves assistant service managers, they got a lot of names. What they are, they're salesmen. They are service salespeople. They're paid on commission, and the more alignments they sell, the more tire rotations, the more flushes, the more everything. And that's how they feed their families.
Yep.
So if you come in there and they check your car out and they say there's nothing wrong with it, they made nothing, and they spent a half an hour or whatever it was, they made nothing. So I blame the pay plans. The dealers that are paying everybody in their dealerships, and we're guilty to a large extent. Our car salesmen don't get paid commissions on profit, but in other departments they do. So pay plans are to blame, and if nothing else, they even an honest service advisor is going to see the glass half empty instead of half full when he's thinking about if I do this, I'm going to make $50. If I don't do it, I'm going to make nothing. He's going to look real hard at why he should do it, and not so hard as to why he shouldn't do it and save you all the money. So yeah, get a second opinion if you're nervous about any estimate, and always get the estimate first before they touch your car.
Yep.
Anonymous feedback. This comes from somebody who had recently got into a car accident. It says, after watching your video on YouTube on OEM parts, all I can say is, wow, that is horrible. How do you keep an insurance company from putting junkyard and or aftermarket parts on a car and a third-party claim? State Farm is telling me that I would have to pay for the OEM parts since their driver is 100% at fault. You don't have a whole lot of control.
I just talked about this earlier on the show, and it's one of the most frightening. I hate these conspiracy nuts, that always say there's this vast conspiracy going on, but it makes me feel like one when I say I really believe there is some sort of conspiracy between the auto manufacturers and the insurance company to be put on a car in a repair. And if you want a safe part, you have to pay extra for a safe part. It is somehow morally an outrage. So I don't know. Lawyers, you heard me appeal to you an hour ago. I'm appealing to you again. Call the show and tell me while I'm crazy. Why am I crazy to think it should be illegal to put an unsafe part on a car?
I think you're crazy. You tell very educated people and very powerful people this information, and they shrug.
Yeah.
Remember when you made me go to our former state attorney general's fundraiser a long time ago?
Oh yeah.
I actually got an opportunity. It was Pam Bondi. Now
Pam
she's
Bondi.
a big mucky muck in Republican politics now. But back then, I told her the whole story about how you get in an accident, these untested parts that can affect the safety. And she seemed to be very interested in it.
I forgot about that, yeah.
She listened with open ears this whole story,
Yeah.
and nothing ever came out of that.
Yeah, that was quite a conversation that you had with her too.
Oh yeah.
That you shared with us.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was an interesting night.
And it was almost like as if that you walked away and thought to yourself, "Boy, she's in my corner. She's,
I did feel pretty good when I left.
Yeah.
She should have got an Oscar for that performance.
I was like, wow, I think I just took care of that for us, for everybody.
Problem
Got
solved.
that out.
Yeah. That was my first and last political fundraiser.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I feel the same way. None for me.
Maybe she should have got an
Anyway.
Oscar for that performance.
She
There
should
you
have.
go,
I should have
Rick.
awarded it to her.
Point taken. Absolutely. Okay, Rick, do you have anything else?
Well, we actually have a couple comments from Donovan. One of the things that Mark Smith had mentioned for the antique cars is that a lot of airports, you can buy leaded fuel still that is 100 octane leaded fuel in small amounts, a couple gallons at a time, that you can then run in various cars. Let's see, and Donovan said that the FAA is actually going to be stopping that very soon. So that's going to have an impact on that and on a lot of these smaller aircraft. They're going to have to come up with some alternate fuel source for it. And Donovan says, the problem is where do you think the lead goes after it exits the exhaust? Most of it does go to the ground in a particulate matter, but no amount of lead is good for the people or the animals.
Yeah.
It's something we should have never used. And as a matter of fact,
I just Googled where can I buy leaded fuel, and then it offered me the choice.
North Korea.
Near me. So I said near me. So here we are in North Palm Beach. ABS fuel gas station, that's 300 feet away. Shell gas station, that's 95 feet. And Chevron gas station, a tenth of a mile. And there are more places. So there's a whole lot of places that I could buy leaded fuel.
According to Google.
and it's something else that a lot of folks don't realize. Every time you have your tires balanced, the technician usually is playing with lead weights that we are pounding into place on those tires. So, I mean, we're constantly exposed to it.
How about all those fishermen?
Yep. And one other quick note, Donovan says, hey, Earl, with the insurance company, he says, maybe you shouldn't make it quite as loud as you do. This is Florida. They might drop you.
It is scary. If I wasn't nuts, I probably would keep my mouth shut. I'm starting to sound like one of these nuts conspiracy. But I'm asking anybody to say, Earl, listen, you're off track on this whole thing. Here's why it's okay to put a hood that has never been safety tested.
Yeah, you've never had that. No one's ever come back with that and gave you a logical explanation.
No, not any explanation. You know, the song and dance the insurance companies play. Oh, these are checked by. They have a in-house insurance.
Yeah, Alan told us about it. There's
quality.
some kind of sham.
Yeah, and this is Cafe or some name. They test all the. They're all tested. Okay, they're all tested, and they test the quality of the steel. They test the paint finish. They test. I say, do they crash test them? No.
Nope.
But they song and dance you. These are tested and certified. This is a certified hood. Oh, is it certified for crash testing? No. So.
Okay, I want to mention my battery tender. This is just amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a commercial.
And this is what I use at home.
This is one of our most common questions is, if I'm going to be out of town for 6 months, what can I do so my car will start when I get back? And so because of this, Nancy has...
Yeah, the battery tender. And this here is just, it's worth this. It's worth all the money that you spend for it, which is, I think, only $29. And you got it, Jonathan? Okay, over. Okay, great. There you go. So you can use this. It includes the alligator clips and the ring terminal cables, and you can put this right on your battery, and this will ensure that when you come back from vacation, wherever you've gone, that you have a full charge on your battery. It's really easy, and I'm having a whole lot of fun with it.
If you call in the next
$59.95 on Amazon.
$59.99 on Amazon.
$59.95 on Amazon.
It was $59? Oh, I was way off.
Amazon recommended. It's top rated.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we run out of time, I want to let you know that the dog of the week is Stewie.
Hey there.
And Stewie is 1 year, 6 months, and 2 weeks old. And he is a mixed breed, and he weighs 41.4 pounds.
Huge tongue.
And, and he's just the cutest dog. And we have a video. He looks like a happy dog. Okay, I think Jonathan will
let's
roll
roll.
this
Let's
for
see.
us.
I want to see Stewie. I want to see my my doppelganger.
This is Stewie. He is a 1-year-old mixed breed bully that was rescued and brought to Big Dog Ranch from the streets of Miami. As you can see, he's short and stout, like a little teapot. Stewie is great with people. He's great with other dogs. He loves cuddles. He loves to be around his owners. Stewie's great on the leash. He does pull a little bit, but and could use a little bit of training. But here at Big Dog Ranch, we do offer training. He is he will make a great addition to any family. He's, like I said, he's great with other dogs. He's small, so he would be good in an apartment if you take him on a walk. But really, he's so sweet and just would love a new home. He would love a new family, a forever family. Wouldn't you, Stevie? He's food motivated, loves treats, don't we all? And he looks forward to
I always laugh at that about being food motivated. I haven't met a dog that wasn't food motivated.
Yeah.
How cute is that? And Stu, tell the audience about the savings when they adopt.
Yeah, so whenever you adopt a dog, it is an adoption, but there's always there's costs incurred. The Big Dog Ranch Rescue or some of the the other local ones, there's a cost incurred. We take a dog every week, and our sponsored dog. All that means is that we pay the adoption fees for you, so it's a free dog. That's what we do. We're giving away dogs every Saturday, and we highlight these dogs. But we also hope that it just kind of brings exposure to Big Dog Ranch Rescue in general, and people go out there and see all the dogs out there. And so, if Stewie isn't your cup of tea, which if you think about it, that's just insane. Of course, Stewie is your cup of tea.
He looks like he's still got some growing to do, though.
He's 2 years old, right?
No, 1 year.
1 year.
You don't want his tongue to grow any.
Yeah.
He's
1 year, 6 months.
He'll be tripping on his tongue.
Yeah, he's probably got a little bit more growing to do.
I was looking at his paws, and I agree with you, Rick.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to get a little bigger.
Yeah.
He's a bully, and so he might get stouter. He'll get wider and fill out a little bit more. And but yeah, the other thing about pit bulls and the American bulls and all that, they get a bad rap. I am of the firm belief that I think it's more the way they're treated and raised than it is an inherent genetic predisposition towards violence. And any dog that has been treated with love and care returns it.
They raise humans bad too.
Exactly. There's all sorts of
just like humans. You raise a good baby bad and becomes a bad person.
Yeah, they say don't adopt an American. Yeah. They're more likely to kill you.
Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, the Big Dog Ranch is the largest cage-free, no-kill shelter in the United States.
They don't cages. They have dorm rooms.
Pardon me?
They don't have cages. They have dorm rooms for the dogs.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
Okay. I am being told that we need to get to the mystery shopping report. So take advantage of Big Dog Ranch Stewie's out there and go to www.bdrr.org. That's Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Okay, we have the mystery shopping report this morning, and it is from Al Hendricks Toyota.
Hendricks
Costco.
Hendricks son.
I didn't hear you.
Hendricks son.
Hendricks son. Okay, maybe it's best they don't.
There is a big chain of dealers named Hendricks.
Which is Morgan now, right, Stu?
It's owned by the Morgan Automotive Group.
Automotive Group, yeah. So you want to listen to this mystery shopping report. Ellen, she reported last week how terribly she was treated and how she spent, I believe it was $7,000. I think that was an adjusted market fee. There were some. It was just terrible, and I hope that you're listening, Ellen. So that's
this is for you.
Go ahead. I'm choking.
Okay. And another reason this is an interesting report for all of us is that this is a Costco-approved auto dealer, and on this show, we recommend that you use the Costco Auto Buying Program. TrueCar and the Costco Auto Buying Program and Consumer Reports are our holy grails that we say go to get a good price on a car. And Al Hendrickson Toyota is an approved Costco auto buying program dealership. So that's a real good reason.
And absolutely, we want you to vote on this. So if you didn't jot that number down, you can text us with your vote at 772-497-6530. 772-497-6530. Okay.
Okay, here I am at Al Hendrickson Toyota down in Coconut Creek, Fort Lauderdale area, and I'm speaking as if I were Agent Lightning. I began my shop at CostcoAuto.com when I entered the zip code. This is what we recommend you do. CostcoAuto.com, go to that website, enter your zip code. I was provided the site directed me to Ed Morris Delray Toyota. Not sure what was going on. I called Al Hendrickson because we wanted the shop to go to Al Hendrickson. They showed the nearest one, which was Ed Morris Delray Toyota. So I called Al Hendrickson Toyota to see if they were still participated in the Costco Auto Buying Program, but I couldn't get a clear response. So this is a little unusual that they don't know. You can't get a clear response. I decided to call the 800 number for the Costco Auto Buying Program. I spoke with Susie, who was extremely helpful. She emphasized the importance of working with me, working with an authorized salesperson who'd been appropriately trained. So any of you who are thinking of using the Costco Auto Buying Program, I'm speaking as myself now, not Agent Lightning, go to CostcoAuto.com, CostcoAuto.com, and you need to be a member of Costco. For $50 or $60, you could join, worth every penny and then some. And you enter your zip code. They tell you the dealers in the area. And if you want to go further out, you can push them and say, well, I'm going to be out of the area. Give me the Costco recommended dealers in this zip code, and they'll do that for you too. Back to the shopping report. So here I am, and got advice from Susie at Costco to be sure I spoke with a Costco-authorized salesperson at Al Hendrickson Toyota. Just 2 minutes after entering the call, Anna from Al Hendrickson Toyota called me. I informed her that I was nearby and would be arriving shortly. Shortly after, Juan sent me a text message. So Al Hendrickson was on the job. Text message says, hello, okay, my name. Agent Lightning, good morning. My name is Juan from Al Hendrickson Toyota. Anna shares your information with me. She said that you want to see the Camrys today. I'll be the person that will show you the cars. So when you get here, ask for Juan. That's me. What time would you like to come in, just so you know? I replied, I'm pulling in now. She was actually already there. I was actually already there at Coconut Creek, Al Hendrickson Toyota. She says, I'm pulling in now. However, Costco was very specific in saying there are only certain authorized sales reps that I'm allowed to work with, and they've listed them on my voucher that I have. Now, that's one of the reasons why I'm going back to being Earl Stewart now, that we recommend you use Costco, because they tell you which dealership and which salesperson at the dealership to use to be sure you're safe and you get the deal that they're guaranteeing. Well, I got no response.
Well, you forgot to say. She goes, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your name isn't listed on there.
Ah, that's right. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your name isn't listed on there, so no response. That's, that's worrisome, but we press forward. I arrived at the dealership, and I was met by 3 eager salespeople. Steph, S-T-E-P-H, Steph, approached me first, offering a handshake, and the other 2 stepped out of the way, allowing us to proceed inside. I mentioned the Costco voucher, and that according to Susie from Costco, only 6 individuals were available to assist me today. That's what Costco said. I also told them that Anna and Juan had been in touch with me. Steph reassured me it was all right and guided me to a desk. So misinformation. That's not all right, but that's the information that Agent Lightning was given. Immediately, he requested my license. Holding my handwritten notes and printed emails from Costco Auto, I reiterated my preference for an authorized Costco salesperson. I then showed him the email containing the names of those 6 individuals. He clearly was not authorized. Now, here is Agent Lightning doing precisely what she should be doing to get the Costco authorized price, and she is being resisted at every turn, every comment. Most people aren't careful like Agent Lightning was being, and as persistent as Agent Lightning was.
People go with the flow.
And therefore, 99 out of 100 people would just be sucked into the system, and you could kiss the Costco price goodbye. And that's what's happening right now. But she's sticking by her guns. I said I hadn't even seen the car. Okay, yeah. After a brief glance, Steph remarked that those were their online reps. So that's a lie. He makes that up, and he's gonna substitute himself for the certified Costco salesperson, and he's going to make up a story about why he's doing it, and the real Costco salespeople are not doing it. He said that he could handle the sale and began asking for my personal information to begin my application for credit. He said it would speed up the process for me. I said I hadn't even seen the car. I'd like to do that first, and then I'd like to see my Costco pricing. Keyword, Costco pricing. And part of the information that you get from Costco is you have to see the Costco pricing sheet. You got to do that. You got to have a certified Costco salesperson take care of you, and you have to have the Costco pricing sheet. Steph appeared to downshift, calmed down a little bit, agreed to get a car for me. He stood up and asked me what color I wanted. I told him I wanted to go with him, pick out the same car I told Costco I wanted. He led me out on the lot. A lot of people wouldn't have been that aggressive. But
It sounded like he was going to pull up, pick a car for her, and go, this is the car you're going to buy.
Yeah. Sal, this is nicer than the one you want from Costco. Let's go. Stick with the car you chose and stick with a certified salesman, and be sure you see the Costco members-only pricing sheet. I selected a new white 2023 Camry SE. The laminated Minority label was in the back seat. That seems to be a favorite spot for dealers in South Florida. Put the Minority label that by federal law has to remain affixed to the window, and put it in the back seat and laminate it. Alongside that was a laminated addendum. They like to laminate. So we got laminated addendum, and they laminated them as Minority label. The MSRP was $32,049. The addendum added a whopping $4,995 market adjustment. That was a market adjustment. And then there was a $1,995 for the Al Hendrickson Advantage package. Remember, this is a Larry Morgan dealership, but they're calling it Al Hendrickson. The Morgan Auto Group bought about several months ago. The package contains 15 items like Nitrofill. You gotta love nitrogen. It's never going away. Worthless. Consumer Reports nitrogen in the tires is worthless. And then all the fees fit into the junk fee category, and they're being eyeballed by the Federal Trade Commission, and they're going after the dealers because of these junk fees right now. It's interesting to note that the Al Hendrickson Advantage package, it's essentially the same thing as the Arrigo Advantage package, another big group that Larry Morgan, Morgan Auto Group bought out at the store Arrigo Dodge in West Palm Beach. Steph had to go inside to get the keys. That's a salesperson who was not a Costco authorized salesperson. Steph went to get the keys and a dealer plate. I waited. He came back after approximately 5 minutes and began showcasing his features like the speed limit, sign camera, and a dashboard recording. I humorously mentioned that my current RAV4 possessed the same stuff. He laughed and said he was new to the dealership, apologized, and I apologized, allowed him to continue. During our conversation, my phone rang, a call from the dealership. And I showed him. Steph told me, don't answer it. You can't make this stuff up. He's telling her not. Now, the dealership apparently was probably trying to call to give him the real appointment with the Costco member or something like that. But Steph, who was the imposter, said, don't answer it.
The skater.
So I didn't answer it. Yeah. We then proceeded with a test drive where I continued to listen to him describe the camera features. Back at the dealership, Steph led me back to his desk and told me he was sending me into finance now. We're going into the box. They're going to take him into finance. I said, well, you haven't even showed me my Costco price yet. How are you going to finance it? She didn't say that. I said that. But this is getting into the twilight zone of bizarre behavior. I don't want to talk financing, and I don't have a price. I asked Steph if their huge market adjustment was going to be part of my Costco pricing. He said he wasn't sure. That's because he doesn't even know what the Costco pricing is. Right. He wasn't sure.
He's heard about that.
And he'd have to ask. He excused himself, left for a couple of minutes, and returned looking lost. I let him know I was annoyed and said this is why Costco is so specific about working with a certified, authorized person. I said that Susie from Costco Auto said this is supposed to be a hassle-free process.
Making Susie look bad.
Steph said he understood, reminded me that he was still new, and said he was beginning to feel nervous. He typed a few things into his computer, left again. I waited for 10 minutes. He returned to say he was still waiting on that price, and it would be only a few more minutes. He left again. Now, keep in mind, folks, I digress, as Earl Stewart. To let you know that this is the second largest Toyota dealership in the world.
Yeah, on planet Earth.
Yes, the second largest Toyota dealership in the world. Now, Toyota manufacturing people listening, Toyota distributor people listening, everybody. They have a high profile, folks. I mean, they represent Toyota
at a big scale.
Second largest in the world. And this is what's happening at your dealership.
We're not going to have time for votes.
Okay? I waited for 10 minutes. He returned. He was still waiting on that price. It'd be only a few more minutes. He left again. At 10:22, a man without, listen to this. At 10:22, a man without saying a word to me sat at the cubicle where I was sitting and began to work on the computer. So I just sat and waited. The man was watching videos. I couldn't see what was on the screen, but I heard people talking about snipers on trails and following and trespassing. At 10:42, Steph returned to see the man working at his computer. He asked the man to move, but the man ignored him. He asked the man again. He groaned and begrudgingly and slowly got out of the seat. He stopped a short distance away and stood facing us again, arms folded, waiting for his chance to use the computer again. Steph got some info from the computer and left again. The man sat right back down, started playing the videos. At 10:57, the man left, and Steph returned with a Costco pricing sales worksheet. I didn't think it was going to happen. Finally got the worksheet. The Costco member-only worksheet looked legit, and it was. We have a picture of it. It had the correct MSRP, $32.89. They showed a discount of $1,140, $1,140, and $0 charges for their market adjustment, zero, and L. Hendrickson Advantage package. So they didn't charge for any of that. The Costco member-only price was $30,949, but then it was indicated, and it was disclosed on the Costco member price, that they did charge the $9.95 doc fee, the $559.95 electronic filing fee, and the $189 private package fee. Those junk fees, they were allowed, Costco will allow it, but it's disclosed. And the Costco price was $32,692, which is only $604 over MSRP. A very good price.
Except for Costco is trying to get Toyota dealers to be $650 behind MSRP for their Costco dealers.
So it was an $8,090 discount off of the market value selling price. The rest of the worksheet didn't contain any more surprises. They added the 3 or 4 main junk fees. Steph returned his push to get me an event. I told him I need to discuss all this with my husband. They fought me on this. I'm rushing because we're out of time. I agreed and continued to sit. As soon as Steph rounded the corner again, the guy came back and started watching the same video again. Steph and the manager, Ken, returned. The video guy left. So then Ken put the pressure on. Ken responds saying, runs their business the way they do. He says, basically, in a nutshell, we don't pay any attention to what Costco tells us to do. We do what we want to do. The good news is, because she was so diligent, Agent Lightning, and you won't have the nerve or the aggressiveness to do this, you will get screwed. And she was able to push it and get the Costco price, which was a damn good price. But it's a miracle she got it.
That's right.
So I'm going to wrap it up.
Good wrap up. That was a good, quick wrap up.
Okay, everybody, you can vote at 772-497-6530. That's the mystery shop of Al Hendrickson, Toyota,
I think
Costco Auto Program.
The Fs are coming in, so I want to just give credit. Jonathan Delray, who had his own personal experience there, gives him an F. Bob gives him an F for Al Hendrickson. I'm not sure the authorized person in our house gives a grade. Sorry. Mark, no worries, not worth the effort trip. Another F. I'm giving him an F too.
I got Kirk in West by God, Virginia, with a solid F. And I've got, let's see, Guy Larrabee, a big fat F. Tim Gilliland, F. Johnny Z. Fradley, F. Brian Sidlatko, I'm impressed with the Costco car plan, a C. Wow. That's an F.
Yeah, I give him an F, and I'm sending a copy of this to Larry Morgan, who owns Al Hendrickson Toyota. It's a shame that the second largest dealer in the USA runs their dealership this way.
Okay, folks, we had a great show, great mystery shopping report. This puts everybody on alert for Al Hendrickson Toyota. We had a great time, and I hope you did too. We all learned something this morning. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right here next week at 8 a.m.